Hey guys, Tiffany here, and this is my 31 days of Halloween. Now, today I am going to be doing another movie review, and yeah, I just wanted to first say I hope you are having a safe and wonderful Halloween season. And yeah, I'd love to know what maybe fun Halloween activities you've been doing. But today, like I said, I'm doing another film review, and it is Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Now, like many people that saw Jeepers Creepers Reborn, I don't know, I was kind of hesitant to see it just based on some of the stuff that I was hearing about it. It took me quite some time to finally see it, but finally I did. Like many people, I was gonna say, like many people who did see this film. Um, I'm a fan of the original Jeepers Creepers, the first and second one, the one with Justin Long and Gina Phillips. I think both of their performances. I mean, just everything about those films are just. It's just a great monster movie, and and I was kind of curious to see how a new director would approach the franchise, because they were saying that it was going to be the beginning of like a whole new chapter in the Jeepers Creepers franchise. It was going to be the Reborn was going to be the beginning of a trilogy, and I don't know, but based on some of the stuff that I was seeing about it and even some clips that I saw, I was like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't know about that, unfortunately. Um, because, of course, there was a scandal with the original director, and of course, should be held accountable. Um, so it was, like I said, I was definitely interested, though, in seeing how somebody else approached the film. Um, and they did film it in 2020, which, we're not gonna, but, we know what happened during 2020. And they did film it then. So, I mean, I can kind of understand, maybe there were some, obviously there were limitations as to what they could do. Um, but yeah, I'm going to just get into my review. So basically, when the film opens up, it actually they do actually do something pretty clever, and it looks pretty promising. Like they're basically, what they're doing is they're rehashing what happened in the beginning of the first Jeepers Creepers film, where the Jenners were Trish and Derry Jenner, played by Gina Phillips and Justin Long, respectively. Sorry, my heater kicked on. So I had to kind of go shut it off just temporarily so that I can film this without too much noise in the background, because it kind of gets a little noisy. But anyway, it opens up kind of like harkening back to the original Jeepers Creepers with Trish and Derry in the car, just bantering back and forth. Only this time it's like it's an older couple. Dee Wallace actually plays the wife, and what they're actually doing too is also kind of playing on the original story that supposedly the director of the original Jeepers Creepers got the whole idea from. And it's basically, it's about and I might do a like kind of like a true crime thing on that, because it is very fascinating. But he actually supposedly got at least the beginning part of Jeepers Creepers from an event that actually happened, that aired on the show Unsolved Mysteries, and they kind of did like a little play on that in the beginning of Reborn, which I actually thought was kind of clever. I know some people didn't really like that, but I was like, okay, no, that's actually kind of, that's kind of cool. Um, and then it cuts to after that it cuts to a couple who's they're actually on their way to a horror convention called Horror Hound, and the guy is actually watching the show that's supposed to be kind of like a take on the Unsolved Mysteries, and the true story, the Unsolved Mystery episodes and the true story that the original Jeepers Creepers was inspired by. And so him and his girlfriend, they're bantering back and forth, and I mean, they don't have. It's almost like they were trying to kind of imitate what Trish and Derry, what Justin Long and Gina Phillips were doing in the beginning, except instead of it being brother and sister like it was in the original Jeepers Creepers, instead they're a couple, they're boyfriend girlfriend, not brother and sister, and it seemed like they were trying to do that, but the thing is, it's like Justin Long and Gina Phillips definitely had that on-screen chemistry. It's, like their performances, I mean, it was easy to believe that they were brother and sister, and you were able to forget that, they were actors playing a role. Whereas with with Reborn and with these two main characters, I mean, they had some cute moments, but it didn't really grow on me the way, like the two characters, they didn't really grow on me the way, Trish and Derry did in the original Jeepers Creepers. So there was that. And there was also just the fact that almost everything was indeed filmed on a green screen. Um, Now I can understand, like I said, they probably had some limitations as far as what they could do and what they were able to film, especially with them having done it in 2020. Um, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I get you had limitations, but there were also other films made during that time, like for instance, Pearl from the X trilogy was made during that time, and those movies, despite probably having limitations, were very well done. And it was one of those things where it's better to keep things simple and just work with what you have than try to come up with this elaborate story and just not have it be up to par. And I think that's what happened here. It's like they were trying to make this elaborate story with, limited time, limited, just limitations on, probably how many people they could have in the same room. And also, just limitations on, just in general resources that they probably had at their disposal at that time. But sometimes it's just like you kind of have to just work with what you have and do the best you can with what you have, which in a way, I think they kind of tried to do that. But again, it was just the fact that it's like like I said, I think it was just too much of an elaborate story and too limited resources that they had. Because I do agree with one reviewer, the horror convention, which, as the boyfriend, the main character, I forget these people's names. Like that's, like I said, I remember Trish and Derry Jenner, but I can't for the life of me remember, and I guess I could look it up, but I'm already filming. But um so yeah, but like the boyfriend, the male lead in this film, he says that, oh, this horror hound weekend, it's the, like, oh, what does he say it is? It's the, like, it's like the biggest cause. I forget his exact wording. But oh no, I think he says it's like the Coachella. Yeah, he says it's the Coachella of cosplay. And it looks like the way the event, like it looks like a fun event, like it would be like a fun little Halloween event. But the Coachella of cosplay, no. It looks more like, your local Halloween attraction, which it's what it looks like. And if that's what it was, if that was the kind of thing that they were going to, like that would have been, like I wouldn't have had a problem with that. And maybe that I don't know, maybe that's what they should have done with it. But yeah, like I said, like it looked like it would have been like just like a fun little event, a fun little Halloween event to go to. Maybe like I said, had they not tried to make it seem like, oh yeah, it's this really huge like horror and cosplay convention, because that's not what it looks like. Like I said, it just looks like it would have been like a fun, just little Halloween attraction event. So there's just like little things like that. And like I said, it's just, I didn't feel like a connection with the two main characters in the same way I felt a connection with, with Justin Long and Gina Phillips as their characters in Jeepers Creepers. Because like I said, Justin Long and Gina Phillips do such a phenomenal job in their roles, at least, in my opinion, that you almost kind of forget that they're actors playing a role. Whereas here, like, I knew I was watching actors in Reborn. And the thing about Reborn too, like it was definitely giving sci-fi movie, like as in the Sci-Fi Channel. That's what it was giving to me. It wasn't really giving, massive like cinematic event, like this big comeback for the Jeepers Creepers franchise that I think a lot of fans of the film were hoping for. Well, for one, with the Creeper, Jonathan Breck did not reprise his role as the Creeper. And I'm not saying that the other guy did a bad job, the guy that they got, but he wasn't Jonathan Breck. Jonathan Breck, again, it was like you felt like you were watching a creature. Which that's how well I think Jonathan Breck did in his role as the Creeper. It's almost like it's like you forgot that, okay, yeah, this is a dude dressed up as this, really scary looking monster. No, you thought, like you were actually watching an actual monster. That's how great Jonathan Breck did in the role. This other guy, like I said, I'm not saying he did a bad job necessarily. I think he tried to work with what he had. And I think that's really like what all the people involved did. I think they tried to work with what they had. But yeah, but like even this new guy playing the Creeper, he just he doesn't have that, it monster factor that Jonathan Breck had. And then on top of that, the thing about the way the Creeper was in the first two films, there was like this really kind of interesting mix of the creep factor, the scare factor, also, just the way he was just kind of like this shadowy figure. And, even though, yes, you saw what he looked like, but, he was just kind of like, just almost like this shadowy, mysterious figure, mixed with slight bits of comedy too, because, every so often Jonathan Breck would, he kind of like would just give you, like, as the Creeper, he just kind of give this look that was like, like where he was just kind of like, yeah, I gotcha, and like I said, and had those moments where like he, just kind of like these little winking moments, and, like he had that, and that together with the creep factor, the scare factor, the shadowy figure factor, the creature was the creeper was actually also very well rounded too. And, whereas again, it like this creeper was just very kind of one dimensional. And the thing too about the original creeper, the one that Jonathan Breck played, um, he was very methodical in how he went about, just, picking his victims, very methodical, very well thought out, and, very patient, biding his time. Um, just really making sure that this was the one he wanted. So, and there was just, and that also added to the tension and, just just the creepiness and, and it kept you like just watching like, oh gosh, like what's, what's going on here? Like, cause, but with this, with Reborn, you don't really get that. He just kind of like willy-nilly just kills. And it's again, it doesn't have that tension that was really brought forth with the creeper in the first one and then even the second one. So, and I'm not saying that this was the actor's fault. I'm sure, he was trying to work with what he had, but the creeper, like I can watch the first Jeepers Creepers movie and still be freaked out by the creeper, and, and even the second one too. Whereas this one, I was just like, oh, okay, like, and even like the creeper makeup was, it just, again, it just wasn't really giving, and I don't know, maybe if, the first two Jeepers Creepers hadn't been as effective, maybe if they didn't have Jonathan Breck or, whoever, I don't know, maybe this wouldn't have been as bad, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to top Gina Phillips, Justin Long, and Jonathan Breck, in my opinion. And because the thing is, it's like, again, like I said before, where, you were definitely rooting for, Trish and Derry to make it out of this and for both of them to make it out of it alive. You wanted to see both of them defeat the creeper. Whereas with this one, it's like, okay, yeah, I kind of hoped they would make it out alive. But again, I didn't feel as invested in the two main characters' story the way I was with the very first Jeepers Creepers with Justin Long and Gina Phillips. And I definitely didn't feel the tension and the creepiness of, this creeper that I did with the first one. And, and of course there were the technical things where just everything just seemed to be on a green screen, which, okay, but there's a way to go about that, it's just, I don't know. I would think that, I don't know, there would be a way to go about that and use your resources in a way that tried to make it work. Like I said, I think what happened was that they tried to do too big with limited resources. And I think that was the biggest problem. And, and as somebody who's been on film sets and everything, it's like, I have seen what goes into making a film and what can be effective and what isn't effective. And again, like I said, I think that was the problem, like trying to go too big too soon. I honestly think that if perhaps maybe, like budgeting is a thing too, if like maybe they would have, just maybe focused more on, okay, the creeper is back and like he's in the shadows and, and maybe worked with that instead of trying to do that, maybe saved like the big horror hound event for like, maybe the second film, maybe when they had more of a budget and like proved themselves that, okay, this can be a good comeback for the franchise. I don't know, maybe they would have been able to like be a little bit more effective. But yeah, I kind of have to, you know, join in with those that have already reviewed it and just say that, yeah, I mean, it really wasn't a very effective film. And I mean, would I recommend watching it? I mean, yeah. I mean, if if you have like an evening to kill maybe, and pun not intended, like one evening you just kind of want to sit and just like veg out, and you're just curious to see like what this new Jeepers Creepers movie is like. Yeah, maybe watch it. But the thing is, it's like I only needed to really watch it once. Whereas like I can watch like the first film like over and over again. And like I said, I'm still, I've seen it like a million times, and I'm still invested in it when I watch it. But yeah, have you seen Jeepers Creepers Reborn? And if so, what did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you really enjoy it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, but those are my thoughts on it. And and I, like I said, I had seen other reviews of it, and but I still like I try to go into things with an open mind. I try not to let other people's reviews taint my view. If somebody didn't like it, I'm not gonna, I try to go in with an open mind, just be like, okay, maybe it wasn't their thing. But like I said, it was giving Sci-Fi Channel movie. And I think it probably would have been good if it had just been released to the Sci-Fi Channel instead of like this massive theatrical release. But yeah, but I'd love to know what you thought, and thank you. And again, like I don't know if I just rambled through most of this, but I don't know. I am kind of baffled by it. Like, I don't know. But yeah, but it wasn't the first Jeepers Creepers movie. Yes, but that was my Jeepers Creepers Reborn review. And again, I'd love to know what you think of it. And yeah, this is my 31 days of Halloween. We're counting down to Halloween. And yes, I'd love to have you join me. So if you'd like, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so that you can be notified every time I upload. I do all kinds of things, movie reviews, book reviews, some unboxings of small businesses, because I do like to support small businesses. And also some travel stuff, just really looking to explore some hidden gems, paranormal stuff. So, and we do all kinds of cool things on this channel. So, and vlogging. So, all right. So, thank you so much for watching, and hope you're having a safe and happy Halloween season. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.